but I cannot seem to grow a single follicle on the top of my
he's
hair.
talking about his
Nose
hairs.
Hair loss.
That's the way to go.
Okay, Patrick, you've watched this movie before, right?
Yes,
This movie
this
is
my second watching.
Six String Samurai.
Yes, Six String Samurai.
So you have watched this. I guess my question is, what did I do to you? I thought we were pretty cool.
We were on a samurai kick, and I was like, "This is my samurai movie to you that I have."
Yeah. This is the one to add to the mix. Oh, okay, I gotcha.
This is an American rockabilly take on samurai
Yeah.
with a Hong Kong actor that's
Mr.
Caucasian.
Jeffrey Falcon?
White guy.
Jerry Falcon is the biggest.
Is it Jerry?
Jeffrey. I got it pulled up right here.
Oh.
It's Jeffrey.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeffrey Falcon. Okay, my bad. That was fair. Yeah, this was his last movie.
Which
Makes
is
sense.
unfair.
Makes
That's
sense.
unfair. That's an unfair allegation.
But you want to do these shots?
Yeah, let's do it
Oh,
now.
hell.
Yeah.
We're doing
I need-
vodka in honor of the Russians.
There are Russian communists.
Russian
in this
communists.
movie.
Red Elvis.
Red Elvis.
Good stuff.
Yep.
So yeah. Where do I start on this?
We start at the beginning. This happens in
A few years after 1957
Yeah.
is when the Soviets bomb the United States of America with nuclear weapons, putting them in a post-apocalyptic setting.
Yep.
Okay, so on paper, this seems like my kind of movie, right?
Right.
I love post-apocalypse. I like samurai. Shit, obviously. I like guitars. I like rock and roll. I'm starting to like rockabilly less after this movie.
As
But-
you should.
And it's sort of the journey. This guy's taking this journey across the wasteland, kind of thing. So he could be king of Lost Vegas.
They announced
It's got martial arts. Here's the problem. It's a comedy that's not funny. It's funny a couple times, but it wants to be a comedy, but it's just not fucking funny.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's
not
boring.
enough dialogue in
There's
it.
nothing.
Yeah. Didn't like the action.
I hate the fuck out of this
Sword
movie.
fight?
What can I say? I hate this movie.
He's a true martial artist. That's all he
His,
did in
his
Hong
fight
Kong.
at the beginning was probably the best one.
fighting the pinheads.
Some of it, some of it, like I say, some of the fights were good, and the guy definitely has some kung fu. They always say samurai, but he's obviously doing kung fu. But dude's got the personality of a slice of cheese. I mean, they try to make it like, it's this cool. It's like almost an anime-like character.
Yeah.
He's got the suit. He's got the thick glasses. They call him Four Eyes. He's got the guitar with the fucking sword is like taped to the back of it with the sheath, so he pulls it out with the guitar. But the guy's he's just like, hey, what are you doing? He just sounds like a dork. There's no animation to him. He's got no personality. I think he's really lame. But maybe
Because I think this is like one of his first American movies.
Yeah.
He's done stuff in China so long, that's why they have to dub him.
Was that even his voice then?
I don't think it was his
because
voice,
it didn't
'cause
seem
it's
like
dubbed
it,
now.
right?
It was dubbed.
It seems like a dweeb that they dubbed over him, and it just he doesn't come across as. It's really odd.
They were trying
It's
to make
really
it an anime thing.
It's weird, man.
With the umbrella and it goes shing,
Yeah.
or whatever.
The entire film is very much, and we said this from the beginning, that it was like a Fallout New Vegas meets Rockabilly meets anime.
Just with no story.
There's a story.
There's
It's kind of,
literally-
it comes secondary to everything else.
I'm walking through the desert, and there's this annoying kid, and then there's random weirdos that
Sounds like
don't
Lord of the
even-
Rings.
Yeah, it's basically Lord of the Rings. now that you mention it.
We should be taking that shot later. Because I want to say so much more
Say
about
it.
this movie.
Say it.
I can't think of it.
Oh.
All right, a lot of
Well,
it.
you seem to like this.
I like
pile
this
of
movie.
shit,
I
so-
like this movie a lot. And I'll tell you why. A lot of it if you didn't get like, for instance, like his glasses, he kept doing the anime thing where he pushed his glasses up. He was wearing Buddy Holly style taped up glasses.
Right.
The entire movie, if you don't really understand some of the niche contexts of rockabilly and subcultures of rock and roll, a lot of it's just going to be a miss. You know, you have these metal guys. I mean, these metal guys are chasing around these rockabilly guys. There's classic antagonisms in the kind of postmodern world between the two genres, because you have this classic, to its roots, rockabilly, rock and roll style of playing. At the end, they have a. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm sure I'm not spoiling it for anybody. It's a little guitar duel. You have the death head guy that's playing just these metal riffs, and he's soloing rockabilly over it. There's a classic antagonism of rockabilly folks and metal guys, where both of which sides are taking themselves too seriously and getting into scuffs and gruffles. This is been recorded by the Reverend Horton Heat, who's kind of like the standard for rockabilly, right? Reverend Horton Heat wrote a song about death metal guys that comes from antagonisms from playing shows.
They're all LARPing dorks. They are.
Aren't we all, though?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are to some degree. Yeah, but does knowing that actually make it a good movie? It's not.
Yes, I mean, if you
just knowing that does not make it
as
a
somebody
good movie.
who
because
understood,
it's metal guys following a rockabilly guy. It doesn't make it a good movie. This is not.
It doesn't. It makes it a good movie if you
the
understand.
Presence
like
of some
it's
kind of allegory
funny.
doesn't just automatically
it's kind
make it good.
You're right, but it is kind of just funny if you separate the fact that like this movie you said had a $2 million budget.
Yeah, that went up somebody's nose.
Yeah, that went straight to Jeff.
I don't know what the fuck happened there, but
100%. Right, and we talked about like the costumes and everything, and it's just a bunch of like taken out of the dumpster. That's the thing.
Let me say the good things. Okay, some of the martial arts fights are, some of them are good. The costumes are good. There really aren't any sets, hardly. There's like one house and one bar. Yeah. They just walk in the desert. There is a few funny moments. Like there's the scene where the metalhead walks up to they had fought the pinhead guys, the pen pals,
the pen pals, yeah, their bowling crew,
gang,
yeah.
And he kills them, and then the metal guy comes up. I guess he had told one of the Red Elvis, one of the band guys, to kill him.
Yeah,
he's like, I told you guys to kill him. Now all I have is three dead bald guys. Or whatever.
Dead bald guys.
And he says it, and he's like death. And he's got his big black top hat, and that was kind of funny. There is some funny stuff in it, but for me, it's just like it's just lame as shit. Patrick? What do you think? I mean, you've seen it twice now.
I've seen it twice now. Is it the greatest, funnest movie? No. There's some parts in it that I like, just from the few action fight scenes that I see in it with the sword and stuff. The kid annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I hate
most kids in movies suck, and he is exceptionally
bad. The worst. He should have died in the beginning.
The whole movie, he's going, ah.
Yeah,
he won't talk. He just goes, ah.
My problem is that like y'all kept saying that kid's so annoying. That's what my kid sounded like from like year 0 to 3.
This kid is that's like what 7 kids or 8.
Are. Well, that's what I'm saying is like that kid. Yeah, like that's what my son sounded like. There's nothing I can do about it. Like,
this kid's way older. Yeah. And okay, I thought he had like been raised,
by savages.
Because there were guys that were like cavemen. They acted like cavemen.
Yeah,
that could drive cars.
Yeah, but he
Illinois.
Like 2/3 of the movie, he just starts talking.
Yeah, that's right. Perfect King's English. Yeah,
the main guy, Four Eyes, even says, "Man, I liked you a lot more when you weren't saying all this shit."
Yeah,
and then he goes back to it later. He's just going, "Yeah, like why are you acting like a retard all over again? Like, why are you doing this?" Yeah, that kid sucks.
It's a defense mechanism.
It's terrible.
God. If you've ever been to Reggie's Rock Club in Chicago, Illinois, this movie will make some semblance of sense to you.
There's nothing you have to understand for this movie.
There is.
Because
there
you
is
went to a rockabilly club and you heard some music. It doesn't have anything to do with this fucking movie.
You're inexperienced.
This is
the director of this movie. All he did after this was made a couple of music videos. That's it.
Well, he should have been downgraded.
That is
but not
definitely-
because of
He
this
should be
movie.
hanging from a stack of speakers somewhere in sadness.
I will admit. Okay, first of all, there are a few things of note. The Red Elvises. Okay, the Red Elvises are clear. There are a few thoughts I had about this movie. I think that the Red Elvises, part of this movie was promotionally to have their band and just be. They were in the first scene. They were in the opening scene. And if you were listening through the soundtrack, it was the same band
Yeah, it was annoying as
playing
fuck.
right. Okay, that's Rockabilly. That's
Yeah, it was
Rockabilly.
annoying.
Understand with Rockabilly with a communist twist. My point is that one of my first impressions was that like this band, the Red Elvises, kind of had this movie made
Maybe.
as to promote themselves.
Maybe.
Because now here's the thing: is there were a few. I believe the song was Miserlou. I mentioned it while we were watching it, but they were covering a few like standards of rockabilly, psychobilly, jazz.
Yeah.
As like some of the fight scenes were going down, it was a Vinegar Syndicate film. I think that part of this was probably used by that band to promote their music. Meanwhile, they saved a whole hell of a lot of royalties by just covering songs that they would have otherwise used. For people that are familiar with the genre of rockabilly, psychobilly, old classic style.
Yeah.
Now I'm just rambling.
I'm now anti-rockabilly.
I'm not saying that you are, but like they
No, I am
saved.
saying I am anti-rockabilly now. I found this entire movie to be incredibly obnoxious. From like when I said earlier, it makes me feel like my nutsack's itching, but I can't scratch it. That's how I felt this whole movie. Irritated. I was irritated, and it's just annoying. Everybody's annoying. Their main guy, the kid, all of these, everything, the music, nonstop fucking rockabilly, nonstop. I hated it. That's about all I have to say.
I like the scene where the communists are getting slain by the rockabilly guy. I thought that was cool.
Okay,
like,
hold on. Best scene in the movie was the very end.
Oh yes.
When they finally get to the little kid is walking toward Las Vegas,
Yes.
and it's this fucking futuristic sci-fi city
How
out in
did
the middle of
they
nowhere.
succeed?
And this is like
in
this
advance?
wasteland,
Yeah.
and then there's like
Mr. House.
it's like
Mr. House.
They advanced in science and technology after this.
it was so
nuclear
funny.
bomb
I
went
thought
off
that was hilarious.
Because of the power of rockabilly, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Oh, so it's like Bill and Ted, like they win the future, but they played rockabilly.
Yeah.
They founded the city in the desert. Whatever. It's terrible. Let's go to school.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore.
I'm gonna give it a 2. A 2. Just I'm giving it a 2 because I'm gonna try to find some of Jeffrey Falcon's other movies. And get that, probably the one with the Cynthia Rothrock, because I feel like he could do better. I think part of it
maybe,
is they wanted him to sound more English than what he is, because I feel like he's one of the Caucasian people that live in
A
China.
white Chinese
Yeah.
fellow.
The whinies.
Because that's all the movies he's
Might
in it for.
sound like he's making fun of Chinese people if he speaks.
Maybe. But I can tell from his. I've seen like from his. What you can see from his actual like fighting technique, he might be an actual good martial artist, dude.
Oh yeah,
For
it
sure.
seemed like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm giving it 2. It's mainly just for him itself. Yeah, there's not much story to it. There's not a lot of dialogue. It's just walking this straight line and just keep going
Yeah.
and riff.
All right, let me give mine. We'll let Nick have the last word. Yeah, this is a 1 for me. There's there's not enough to pull it up beyond a 1. Like I said, if you're going to intentionally make a comedy and make it kind of doing that cheesy kind of thing, which they're obviously doing, like you gotta actually do it. Like you
Right.
gotta make it funny. And I'm a big fan, as Barry J. Gillis calls them, trash movies. I love trash. But if you're going to intentionally try to do that kind of comedy, you've got to actually be really good at it. And this movie is not funny. It's got, like I say, it's got a couple moments where you might chuckle, but overall, it's not good. There's nothing. There's no sort of There's no real plot, and I'm sorry, just because you went to a bar in Chicago one time doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's a 1 for me. There, I'll let you have the last word.
Okay, it's gonna be 4 out of 5 for me.
Oh.
Yeah, for all the things I've had to sit through that were not that good, this was actually something that was
I'd rather
corny.
watch Necromantic 2 again.
Yeah.
This was something that was corny in like the exact right dimensions. Like this was perfect. First of all, I've been to Reggie's more than one time. I've been kicked out of that bar a time or two. I'm obviously not that you would understand, but what I'm saying is that it was, while Nathan is very much correct in his acknowledgement that it is not that funny. For a movie that is not so serious, right, it is not as funny as it should be. I found it pretty funny. I found a lot of the references.
Were you laughing on the inside the
I
whole
didn't
time?
hear that many laughs.
Yeah,
Well, that's why I acknowledged that Nathan was
I heard
correct
you
in the
there.
sense that it was not as funny as it could have
I
been.
heard you sing along to a song without words.
Because I knew the song. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. God dang it! I thought the movie was funny enough. I found it relatable enough. My favorite scene was actually with that family. We didn't touch on that at all in the review, but they came across a fucking crazy psycho redneck family.
Cannibal family.
Cannibal family that was gonna cut that kid up. That man, that entire movie kept trying to just pawn this kid off,
Yeah.
and then ends up almost dying in his.
That was a really weird scene. The
That
way
was
those
a-
people were acting.
Yeah, because they were just
It was
like
bizarre.
shouting off random things, like, and that's
Yeah.
kind of sometimes that's all you need to get through a real life
I would
interaction.
definitely, yeah, I would say it
Hold
was
on to
probably a
glimpse of the
highlight.
past. Yeah.
I like that scene a lot because they just like talked about like when that guy pulled up, they bashed his car, and then they were gonna eat that kid, and they were like, "Oh, the windmill people are here."
Can't trust him.
A bunch of guys.
You
come
really
in
can't,
like,
yeah, and like
like
taped
in
up
moon
nasty,
suits or
yeah.
whatever, and
And duct tape on it.
And they just go up to the same car they were just trash talking, fire it up, and just drive away, waving bye to the kid they were just about to eat. Like, bye. Like, it felt, the whole movie felt like a dream. It wasn't funny. It didn't make sense.
wait, you said it was pretty funny.
It was, I thought parts of it were funny, but the movie itself, the way, like, from everything it started, that opening scene, that kid's getting chased,
Yeah.
the whole movie felt like if I could remember a dream, that's what it felt like, and it genuinely
Is that what that bar?
it would. You know what I thought
feels
about
like?
when I was watching
You
it?
don't remember that bar? That's what it feels like.
No, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when I would come home from overnight shifts at the Home Depot and turn on Adult Swim at like 3 in the morning. It reminded me of like a 90-minute Adult Swim short. It's just like the craziest shit is going on. It doesn't make any sense. You're just watching. It's 3 in the morning. Like, it just felt like fucking nuts. It felt like a Tim and Eric production.
Torture. Tim and Eric is. I mean,
See,
Tim
for
and
me,
Eric
but
is-
and that's what kind of
Tim and Eric is entertaining. This is torture.
No, well, and that's the
So
thing.
boring,
To
so
me,
boring.
like that line where Tim and
Wow.
Eric hit, where it's borderline insanity. That's what this movie felt like, and
That's
it
what it
felt like
wanted.
it was.
It wanted to-
That's what it
It
wanted.
hit those lines for me. It hit Tim and Eric borderlines.
You know,
That's
how you
that
feel.
was the appeal to
That's
me.
how you
Yeah,
feel.
that was the appeal to me. Is that it was like Tim and Eric does a rockabilly fucking opera.
I wouldn't go to Tim and Eric doing rockabilly opera.
That was, I mean, that's how I
Be a
felt
lot
about
weird.
it. I really,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this
Yeah.
this movie didn't go. It should have gone further. They could have put some gore in. They could have made it more.
I mean, it could have
extreme.
absolutely
to
been
make it
ABCs
more
of Death, but watching it,
Yeah.
it made sense.
All right.
Watching it made sense to
There
me.
you go. Makes sense.
I guess you have to go to this bar first.
I'm just saying,
What's
well,
the name of it?
Reggie's Rock Club
All right.
in Chicago.
Okay, there's you go. There's our review.
Yeah.
Go to Reggie's first.
You have to get kicked out of there once.
Yeah, and then watch this.
Okay. And then it makes sense.
and then you'll like it. You'll like this movie. There you go.